Good evening, everybody. Welcome. My name is Chris Memling, the director of music. Welcome to our annual Jazz Night. As you can see, it's very popular. You're gonna hear all the jazz groups tonight in Weston. We have middle school jazz band, middle school jazz, Wildcat singing, and then we have our jazz choir at the high school and our two jazz bands at the high school. Pretty impressive for such a small district. Some of you may not all know this person, but this Angie Medore is our long-term sub for oh my God, County Melvin. And you know how sometimes in life you just get lucky? Oh my God, the gods were looking down on us. Angie's been wonderful. We miss Claire very, very much, but Angie's been absolutely wonderful. So thank you for being here. And with that, we're going to start tonight with the middle school jazz band.
Thank you.
Our next group is Jazz One. I need to introduce to you somebody else. So this is Paul Pitts, and you may not know him because he only teaches in Weston 1 day a week. But after Claire went on maternity leave, he stepped in and took over the jazz bands at the high school. Paul is known, well, nationally, as he was my job at Boston Latin School in Boston. When he retired from there, he's come here 1 day a week, and he is his groups have played in New York. They've won the biggest festival. Every single honor you can get in jazz, Paul has. So can we give Paul a big round of applause?
I can talk loud. People accuse me of that all the time, right? Okay, so we got Kyle was on. King was first on that on the tenor. Then we had Kyle on the alto. We had Mike on the trombone. That was very improvisational. We messed up the order. We didn't mess up the order. We changed the order. All right. The next one's a little bit different. Kind of slow it down a little bit here. This is entitled Moanin'. Moanin' by Timmons, not Moanin's by Mingus. Moanin's by Mingus is a different thing. That's a very sad thing. Here we go. Ready? This is a little more upbeat than the last one. All right, you ready? He's got two sides and clarinet has two sides. We play background. Anybody help me out with that? Second floor, right? Okay. All right. So this is the song that made Gene Krupa famous. 1938, January 16th, Carnegie Hall in New York City. Benny Goodman had a great big band. It was probably as big as the Beatles or any other, I don't know, whoever that girl that sells all the tickets now is. But he had several black members of his band, and the Carnegie Hall said, you can't use black players. And he said, well, we're not going to play. So they quickly changed. He was that big that was the first really integrated. They had white bands and black bands. So that tune has become iconic with the integration of jazz music. So here it is. We got our drummer Oren. It's going to be Gene Krupa for the night. And here it is, Benny Goodman. Sing, sing, sing. You ready? Come on. on the tenor sax, and Kevin Hahn on the clarinet. Good nice job with the drum. What do you think? Now we're going to take it down a little bit here with that there. It's not that there, it's actually that there. Okay, all right, that's angle two. All right, so that's going to feature Colin Nugget on the piano, and then William on the alto. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. final selection is called The Chicken. It's a famous, Jaco Pastorius, who's a famous bass player. It'll feature our wonderful bass player, Isaiah, on the bass. Yeah, that's it. There's a little solo in the middle of it. Soloists for this one are Alessandra on the guitar and King on the tenor. Who's first? You're first. Oh, Kate, then Alessandra. You can tell the difference. It looks different. Okay. All right. You ready?
All right. Good evening, everyone. Hopefully, everyone can excuse my voice. My voice is a little gone. I just wanted to say, for all the seniors here on the stage, and for all the people who, thank you so much for coming out to Jazz Night. We wanted to say a few words to Mr. Pitts as the seniors are graduating. We haven't known Mr. Pitts for that long, but we wanted to say that in all the times Mr. Pitts has been with us, I think we've always been able to give it our best in jazz, and every single time, we've always learned something new from jazz class, no matter how infrequent we have that class. Yeah. That being said, from all of us on the stage and to all of you guys in the audience, we'd like to thank everyone again for coming out, and we hope you guys have the rest of the night. Now for the chorus.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much.
All right, we're on to the chorus part of our program. This is the Wildcat Voices and the high school jazz choir, also the both under the direction of the amazing John Eldridge. Enjoy.
I drive across bridges, so worried about falling that I miss the view. Already watching the news reports say there was nothing anyone could do. In my mind, what if I fall? What if it's in my mind? What if I fly? Get a little higher, get out of my head for a minute, and just feel the wind on my face. Maybe the fear just means I'm alive. Maybe I'll fall, but what if I fly? I think of you, pick up my phone, then put it down again. There's no way for you to reply to the messages I've never sent. In my mind, we never fall in love. What if I'm on your mind? What if I fly? Get a little higher, get out of my head for a minute, and just feel the wind on my face. Maybe the fear just means I'm alive. Maybe I'll fall, but what if I fly? What if I get to the end of my life? I wanna know that I use my
unable to change. I was wrong.
I'm here right now. Though I used to be romantic, I forgot somehow. I can make you blind, but I see you now. As we're laying in the darkness, did I wait too long? Turn the lights back on.
Here, stuck on a hill, outside is inside the home that we built. Hotels in, it's been a long winter indifference.
Maybe you love me, maybe you don't. Maybe you want to, maybe you won't. You've had enough, but I won't give up on you. I'm late, but I'm here right now. And I'm trying to find the magic that we lost somehow. Maybe I was blind, but I see you now. As we're laying in the darkness, did I wait too long? Turn the lights back on. I'm late, but I'm here right now. Is there still time for forgiveness? Won't you tell me how? I can't read your mind, but I see you now. As we're laying in the darkness, did I wait too long? Turn the lights back on. I'm here right now. Yes, I'm here right now. Looking for forgiveness. I can see as we're laying in the darkness. As we're laying in the darkness, did I wait too long? Turn the lights back on. Shelter
It's good for you. Fly with me, come once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, we'll just fly right on starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near. You may hear angels cheer 'cause we're together. Wonder why it's such a lovely day. It's such a lovely day. Just say the words and we'll meet the birds down to Acapulco Bay. It's perfect for a flying honeymoon. They say, come fly with me, let's fly away. Da, 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 da.
Thank you all very, very much for coming out tonight. We're going to close this evening before we head out to the reception with the jazz choir's traditional closer, which I would really, really like to dedicate to our incredible seniors in jazz band and jazz choir tonight as one final farewell and Celtic blessing. Please enjoy.
Before we do that, we would like to thank Mr. Eldridge for everything he's done for us.
Yeah, for those of you at the Pops concert, you guys know that got a bit emotional. I think that just shows how much this program means to all of us and how much it's done for us, especially Mr. E and also Ms. Schechter. We just would not be able to do what we do without them. So we are truly blessed and thankful to have them